Hello everybody, we're going to do 5.2 of Algebra 2, Part 1. Part 2 and Part 3 are available here. 5.2 graph simple rational functions, and we have 0 points of notes to take for Part 1, and we have a 29-point skill sheet for students. Okay teachers, here's the bell work for your students. Joint variation and inverse variation here on these problems. Give your students about 5 minutes to solve that. Okay, welcome back for your solutions for your bell work. Here's the solution for number 1. Z equals AXY. Plug in your values here. A equals -1/3. And then Z equals -1/3 XY. And then we plug in our other values and we get Z equals 20/3. And then this one here, we plug in our values and for our inverse variation, which is y equals a over x. We plug in our values and then we solve for y equals a over x, which is 2 over x. We know our x over here. X was y equals 2/3. Right here, 2/3. Okay, so graph simple rational functions. You graph Pauli's, you will graph rational. So rational function has the form f of x equals p of x over q of x, where p of x and q of x are polynomials. And q of x cannot equal 0. The inverse variation function, f of x equals a over x, is a rational function. The graph of this function when a equals 1 shown below. So key concept here, parent function for simple rationals. Here is the graph of a parent function. F of x equals 1 over x is a hyperbola. So we have a curve over here in quadrant 3, and then this curve here in quadrant 1, which consists of two symmetrical parts called branches. The domain and range are all non-zero real numbers. Any function in the form g of x equals a of x, a cannot equal 0, has the same asymptotes, domain and range as a function f of x equals 1 over x. So this is the parent function for hyperbola. Okay, a rational function. Students, in your own words, define rational function. Graph of a rational function in the form y equals a over x. Graph the function y equals 6 over x. Compare the graph with the graph of y equals 1 over x. So here is the 1 over x curve. This is the y equals 6 over x curve, which is extended out further from the parent function here. Draw the asymptotes, which are x equals 0 and y equals 0. So it's the axes are asymptotes here. Plot the points to the left and to the right of the vertical asymptotes, such as -3, 2, and -2, -3, 2 and 3, and 3 and 2. So you could put this into your calculator and get a table from that, and then plot from that, or just copy it from your graphing calculator into this as well. Or you can make a table of that by hand and then plot. Here's our parent. Here's the one that we're graphing here. So draw the branches of the hyperbola so that they pass through the plotted points and approach the asymptotes. Graph of y equals 6 over x lies farther from the axis than the graph of y equals 1 over x. Both graphs lie in first and third quadrants here and have the same asymptotes, domain, and range. Now our guided practice here. Graph the function -4 over x. Students, this is for you to graph here. Y equals 8 over x minus 5. So for a guided practice, we have f of x equals -4 over x. This will be the hyperbola here. We have a branch over here and then a branch over here. We're in quadrant 2 and 4 now with our graph. The domain is all real numbers except 0, and the range is all real numbers except 0. Okay, so that was lesson 5.2. Part 1. If you want part 2 and part 3, email me here for part 2 and part 3 video or PowerPoint. Thank you very much.